Hey guys, I already did the driver's side. I tested my coils, I changed my spark plugs, I cleaned my valve cover, I cleaned the mating surfaces, and I put on a new gasket. So I'll show you what I did, but on the passenger side. Follow along. This is the passenger side. Look how gross it is. There's so much oil and gunk. Alright, so first we're going to go ahead and remove this hose. Then we're going to remove the clips that are connected to the coils. Then we're going to go ahead and remove all 3 coils. And then we're going to remove the spark plug wires. There's 6 on this side and 6 on the other side. You have 12 spark plugs total. Let me show you something really quickly. Okay, on the driver's side valve cover, at the top part of the valve cover, they have 3 long screws. And then around the valve cover, there's 6 little screws. Don't forget, it's different than the passenger side. I'll show you the long bolts and the little bolts later. I'm gonna pull this valve cover out right quick on the passenger side. Great success! We got it! Isn't it cool to see how a car works? It's like cutting a monster open and seeing his guts! Ah! Alright, the difference between the driver's side and the passenger side valve cover? Remember, the driver's side has the 3 long screws at the top and 6 baby screws around it. This one has only 2 long screws at the top and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 baby screws around it. Now I'm going to remove the spark plugs so I could put the new spark plugs in. Unfortunately, I actually filmed myself cleaning the valve cover and the mating surfaces, but I think I dropped the memory card in the grass and I just can't find it. Look at all of that oil. Later on, you'll see all of the spark plugs are covered in oil. That's bad news bears. When you have oil covering your spark plugs, that means you have an oil leak coming from your valve cover, which means you need to change the gasket in your valve cover, which also means your car's not performing at its bestest. See, it's just soaked in oil. Now I'm gonna put in the new spark plugs. I told you my car has 12 spark plugs total. I bet you didn't believe me. Look how gross this is. They're all covered in oil. Okay, we're back at the valve cover. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the old gasket, clean it, and put a new gasket. Alright, so I cleaned the mating surface on the valve cover and the mating surface on the car. I didn't clean the inside though, because it didn't look so bad. I also cleaned the top of the valve cover. The only part I didn't clean thoroughly was where the coils sit. Look, I did something bad. I accidentally scraped a lot of the gasket from the top part of the valve cover off, but it's okay because if I put this on the car, if I need to replace the gasket on that part of the valve cover, I can still still do it while it's on the car. So that's not a problem, really. Alright, don't mind my hands. They're kind of ashy and kind of dirty. I'm gonna show you guys my new gasket. It's super cool. It's the color blue. This is an old gasket. Ew! It's like wrinkly, right? And this is a new one. Wow, see? I told you it was really pretty. Now she's ready to go back on the car. Okay, so now I'm putting all the screws back in. Don't forget, you have the 2 long screws and the 7 little baby screws. Make sure when you put your screws in, you put them in oppositely so that you don't get an oil leak. If you put your screws in side by side by side by side by side, you're gonna get an oil leak. It's like when you put a new tire on your car, you put the bolts in a star pattern so your wheel doesn't fly off and kill you or kill someone else, because then you'll die or your car might flip over. Or your tire can fly off of the car and then your car can flip over and then you can die and then your puppies will miss you and your friends will miss you. All because you put your tire on wrong. Alright, so now I'm going to put the coils back on the car, the spark plug wires in the coil plugs, and then I'm going to put the last hose we disconnected back where it belongs, and then you're done. Everything is finally done on this car for today.